And gentlemen, this is a story that came out in Yahoo Lifestyle, November 29th, 2018. A nurse was fired for refusing to get her flu shot. Is that justified? Now, we know the strain of flu last year was really ineffective to the shot that was given out. And, they don't know what strain is going to hit people from one year after the next. So those shots can be hit or miss. And last year was definitely a miss. You had some people that didn't get their shots die, but there were people that died and they did get that flu shot. And on top of that, they were encouraging people to go out and get another flu shot, and folks were still dying. So last year was definitely a disaster. So now this nurse out of Missouri has lost her job for refusing to get what the hospital requires all employees to get, an annual flu shot. The news of the nurses firing Monday sparked protest, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The nurse, who has not been publicly identified, had been granted a religious exemption from the annual flu shot when she worked for St. Anthony Medical Center before it was required by Mercy South Hospital. This year, protest organizer Nelia Archon, who said she is close to the nurse, told the newspaper, "That's the problem here. They declined the religious exemption." The company implied its flu shot policy several years ago and received 170 requests for medical or religious exemption to the flu vaccine from its 4,400 employees this year. According to a hospital statement given to Yahoo Lifestyle, most of the requests were granted, but those whose requests were declined were told this week, the hospital said. The point of our flu vaccine policy is simple. Protection against the flu virus saves lives, especially those of our most vulnerable patients, the statement says. Requiring healthcare workers to be vaccinated for flu is a best practice across the U.S. to ensure the safety of patients, coworkers, and community members. The company requires compliance with the policy by all Mercy coworkers as a condition of employment. The statement continues, "This is an important step in protecting our patients, visitors, and coworkers. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention specifically recommends that healthcare workers get an annual flu shot, among other vaccines. But individual policies vary by medical facility. However, it is not uncommon for hospitals to have a policy in place that encourage employees to get their annual flu shot. Most hospitals will have some policy in place for people who have direct contact with patients to require or strongly encourage the flu vaccine." Infectious disease expert Amish Adalja. The goals of this type of policy are simple. Hospitals want to make sure their employees are highly vaccinated as possible, not only to prevent them from getting infected with the flu and infecting patients, but also because it's shown to decrease absenteeism from people getting sick as well. As for citing a religious reason for not getting the shot, religious exemptions tend to be bogus and an excuse people use to avoid vaccination. That's not always entirely true, but let's go on. Clearly, there are medical exemptions, but when people use religious or philosophical exemptions, it is largely an effort not to get the flu shot. I don't blame them. Ultimately, these policies are in place for a reason. The flu is not a benign illness. Healthcare providers should unequivocally get the vaccine and realize the transmission to patients is a real risk. 25% of people with the flu can have no symptoms and can spread the flu before you get sick. The only way we have to stop transmission is through vaccine. Yeah, but it didn't stop it last year. It's baffling that we have to tell healthcare providers this. They learned this in school. It shouldn't be hard for them to understand. When they give those shots, like I said, they don't know what strain of flu is coming out. And it's true. A lot of people don't like getting those vaccines. I know I don't get them because I don't trust any government gives out. I always think there's a hidden motive in the whole thing. So, yeah, I think it's, but I mean, some of you are working in hospitals. Do you think, especially if you are a person that works in a medical facility, do you think you should have to take a flu vaccine? Should it be mandatory? And I'll just wait and see what your answers are. And even if you are not medical personnel, leave a comment anyway. I have to tell you, I can't blame this nurse for refusing. I just can't. I have seen people get flu shots and still get the flu. And they even admitted last year when so many people were dying that it was possible to get the flu even after you get the flu shot, especially if the shot doesn't cover the strain of flu that's out. And that's exactly what happened last year. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave a comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.